actually a Spanish immersion teacher, which means that I teach at the elementary school level, 5th grade. I teach children their core subjects such as math, science, language arts, social studies, but I teach it 100% in Spanish instead of English. And the immersion program, it's really taken off here in Utah lately because I think there's more interest as far as parents who have served missions and just so many immigrants here in Utah, and knowing a second language in general I think is more valued here than in many parts of the country. But I think any type of immersive experience you can have when you're learning a second language is so valuable, rather than isolated studying of grammar charts or learning it based on topic by topic. From what I've studied, my degree and my experience as an immersion teacher, it's a lot more effective to learn a language contextualized in whatever real life, authentic, culturally authentic context that is possible within your circumstances. So, for example, speaking with a native speaker, or watching Spanish movies, reading Spanish books, listening to Spanish podcasts has been one for me to help kind of hone my language skills since I've been home. Like Spanish podcasts from Mexico. I've listened to TED Talks from Peru, from different Spanish-speaking countries. And the advantage of those, of podcasts and movies, is that you also get the culture. And so much of the language and the everyday sayings has to do with cultural, with what's important in the culture, and it just helps you to understand the why behind the language a lot more. So there was actually a family in my second ward where the wife was from the States and the husband was Spaniard, and they had little kids, and the wife only spoke to the children in English and the husband only spoke to them in Spanish. And I've heard of quite a few families doing that, where you have the parents from who speak two different native languages, and that I think that helps the children growing up be able to congruently learn both languages, but also separate them, and just helps with the natural flow of the brain acquiring those new language skills for each language. So I've really enjoyed being an immersion teacher, because rather than teaching just off of grammar charts or imitating getting to know you conversations, hi, how are you, good, how are you, what is your name, my name is, it's more just in the context of everyday life, what conversations you have. Like sometimes you just need, the situation calls for talking about sports and work and politics instead of just clothing and introducing yourself and food. Like it's more just all over the place. So I think the more that missionaries preparing for their mission can watch movies made in Spanish-speaking countries with, set in that country, so they can get the culture and they can get a variety of topics. Any exposure you can get to different topics will help them once they get to the field be able to make small talk, because that's a huge skill that I wish I had prepared for more on the mission. Like when you get to a lesson in Spain, Spaniards don't just want to jump into the gospel. They want to really get to know you and to talk about your life and compare it to their life. And sometimes I felt a little lost and kind of out of my element. And then when we got into the gospel, I felt comfortable again. But I think it would have helped if I had been able to converse about a variety of topics with them, just to know a little bit of vocabulary about a lot of things, and especially things that are important that Spaniards value. So that's kind of my advice for missionaries coming into the mission.